Hello, welcome to DT Daily. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're watching us, whether it's on Twitch or Periscope or YouTube or digitaltrends.com or Facebook. We are live taking your comments and questions today as usual. And I'm just going to jump right into it right now and tell you what we have on tap today. It's a lot. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to be joined by Ronan Glon from our Automotive section to talk about everything going on in the world of cars. He's going to be live from France, zooming into us right now. And then we're going to be joined by Drew Prindle, which Drew, of course, a favorite here on DT Daily. We're going to be interviewing Charles J. Simon, who is the author of a book, this book right here, Will Computers Revolt? We want to know what your questions and comments are on that. The answer to me is yes. We've also going to be joined by Cedric Hudson, a senior apparel designer for Adidas. He's going to be in studio here in a little bit later too. I'm your host, Greg Nibbler, and with me right now is Miss Marie Pardo-Garber. Hello, Marie.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Marie, I know it's Halloween.
It is.
I am not in costume right now. I'm going to make up for that here in a second. But why is it, for anybody who doesn't know, what are you dressed up as today?
I am Louise from Bob's Burgers, and I'll be honest, I did just kind of want the hat, just for everyday usage. I've been wearing it the past week in my house, so.
Nice. So it's an everyday outfit at this point.
I think so.
See, if you do it enough, then you become that eccentric office person, and then you can just wear it all the time.
Yeah, then it's normal.
Yeah.
Then I can start bringing like my cat into work with me.
Yes.
And then we just go from
there.
there.
You can start right down that path.
It'll be great.
Yeah. Have a little carriage for your cat. I mean,
I'm so excited.
I'm seeing a real good future for this.
I am too.
Yeah, yeah. Congratulations.
But yes.
DT's cat lady. All right, so Marie's joining us here. We're going to talk about the headline news. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a $100 Amazon gift card we're going to be giving away during today's broadcast. At some point, we will be handing that out to one of you. There will be, of course, our monster giveaway sign that'll flash on the screen. And when that happens, what you'll do is email dtdaily@digitaltrends.com. And if you're the 10th emailer with our code word that we put out there, you could win $100 from Amazon. And also, as usual, I'm going to announce yesterday's winner. And that was Vicky Dunn. Vicky Dunn, you are the winner of a $100 Amazon gift card. You did it. Congratulations. And we will be sending you an email about the details on that here in just a little bit. All right, so let's get to our big headline news story of the day, which is still the one carrying over from yesterday, but a bit of a recap on Apple's big announcements. Yes. So did you follow along with Apple's
I followed
event?
along a little bit. It was kind of a busy day, but yeah.
It was a busy day. Yeah, for anybody working in tech, it was a very busy day, trying to keep track of everything that was going on with that, which is why we do that at digitaltrends.com, so that way you can see what's happening. But to just kind of bring you up to date on it, we did get some new products from Apple, some new hardware. The first one being the MacBook. We got a new MacBook. We got a new MacBook Air, so we got that. That kind of came out, and so that's an update that I think a lot of people have been waiting for.
Yes, I have been waiting as an IT person.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Marie works in IT here. So what did you think about this? Like your thoughts on the new?
I'm excited for it. I could feel our finance person just kind of sweating a little bit as we yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, the update on the product, but the price.
Yeah, and it makes sense. There was such a long gap in between like the new MacBook Air, the new Mac Minis, that it's understandable that there was a price gap.
Do you think that the hardware improved enough to warrant that price increase?
Some here and there. I think as a whole, it's a little disappointing because I feel like Apple may have been trying to just bring everything up to the same tier as the rest of their products, regardless of what exactly it had in it.
Okay.
But it's exciting one way or the other. I'm really interested to see how everything performs, how everything measures up.
Right, getting the hands-on, and which we do have hands-on reviews. Julia and Chikatu got to actually go there, and there's some reviews at digitaltrends.com right now that you can see how they're functioning hands-on. So, I mean, the Mac, I'm seeing a lot of A lot of different comments coming through here. Looking on YouTube, Niraj says, mention me on the show. And Rain says, the show is for tech, not shout-outs. So instantly shut down. I like how everybody's patrolling themselves. Designed Technica, which I recognize that name. 60% increase in price for the new Mac Mini. So yeah, and that's the other thing. So we had a couple other announcements. The Mac Mini with that increase in price as well. I mean, another product that I think a lot of people were looking forward to, wanted to see a new Mac Mini. And, you know, we got it. There's 4-core or 6-core. There's a lot of, you know, it is an improvement, but it is a big price increase again.
It is.
So I feel like that's another one where it's like, yeah, we needed that update, but whether it's going to be this groundbreaking, revolutionary new product, I don't know, or whether it just brings it up to spec with everything else that's kind of on the market.
Yeah, and plus it's black, so that'll also cost you a little bit extra.
Right, of course, yeah. With it, yeah, anything with Apple with it's a different color. God forbid, yeah, you got to pay more than that. But still, though, it is an update on that. But the one product, though, I think everybody was actually excited about was the iPad Pro. The update to the iPad, as they were kind of saying, it's the iPad they wanted to make back in the day, and now we did get the update on that. And the iPad Pro legitimately does look pretty enticing.
It does. It really looks fantastic, and it looks so much more like their phones now.
Yeah, it seems like they used a lot of that design, and they even talked about that using the 10R and the 10S and using that influence.
I love it. It looks sleek. It looks nice, and it looks like something that it's a real contender for tablets.
Yeah,
and I think it's great.
Yeah.
I wish we could use more of them here at the office.
Really? Yeah. So, are you a fan of tablets, just in general, just working in IT?
I have a tablet. Here at the office, I tend to use the laptop more, just for functionality.
Yeah.
But at home, I am a tablet lover. I do love it.
Yeah.
Readers, videos, anything like that.
Well, this iPad Pro does look pretty good. I mean, again, price increase. But it's Apple. If you're an Apple fan, you know you're kind of used to that price. Taking a look here in the chat on Facebook, Sarah says, and they will say the same thing in 3 years. Yes. That it's the update. Yeah, that's the thing. A little bit slow on the updates, so we'll have to see where we go with that. And again, feel free to drop your comments, your questions in the chat, and we will make sure that we get to those. All right, let's take a look right now for our segment called Read 'em and Weep. Because since we are live and we get to see the different comments and questions come through, and we, you know, take tech very seriously here at Digital Trends, but we don't take ourselves too seriously, so we can accept your comments. We sometimes will provide a retort to them. So let's take a look here. These are comments that are gathered over the last 24 hours or so on Digital Trends' different websites. So we'll kind of go to our first one here and take a look at what we've got as the comments come through. All right, let's see. This says, what to expect from Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. So we do have a lot of articles coming up on that. I mean, that's a big thing, especially in the world of tech. And the response was, it's still October. Look, I mean, we already have Christmas music out. There's Christmas music. There's Christmas things in all the stores. Why not talk about Cyber Monday? It's really only like 4 weeks away.
It's not that far away. It's definitely close enough to start planning.
Yeah, wouldn't you want to be prepared for it?
Yes.
I think that's important. Well, anyway, Voximize, if you don't read it, you won't get to take care of the good deals. All right, moving on. We got another comment here from Dinah Shipe-Lee in response to a video we posted, the best videos on Amazon Prime. Quote, you lost me at a ghost story. She ate that pie for 15 minutes. I don't want to watch a movie to see a person eat a pie for 15 minutes and then throw it up. I didn't know what this was because I hadn't watched a ghost story yet, but apparently there is a scene where somebody eats a pie eats an entire pie.
Apparently, for 15 minutes, and then something else happens afterwards.
Yeah, which I like that kind of a challenge where I think people, that could be an internet challenge, see how fast you can eat just a single pie.
15 minutes is pretty good amount of time to eat a pie.
Could you do it?
I'd probably do it. I'm not going to throw it up, but I can do it.
But you could eat the pie in 15 minutes.
I think so.
All right, newest segment at the end of the show, 15 minutes of just Marie eating pies.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
I like this.
All right, so moving on to a couple of other comments that we have. Let's see, this is from Pixel Pups on Twitch saying, why does Maximilian look like someone caught him wrist deep in the cookie jar? In this pic, my poor man is far too personable for you to do him dirty like this, and gets talking about our coverage at TwitchCon and what we had there. So apparently, you know, caught off guard.
I think so.
There's a lot of pictures of me caught off guard, and you know what? Sometimes you just have to deal with them. All right, so Pixel Pups, thank you for tuning in to all the coverage. Moving on to our next one here, we have Brad E. Walton II. That's a solid name, Brad.
That is.
That's a good, like, that's an author name or something, you know, author, I would think. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe. Politician.
Sir-
Brady Walton II running
Sir
for you.
Brady Walton.
Regarding the live testing the boring flamethrower, it looks like an old P. Diddy video on a budget. That may be the best comment that we've had in this segment. I love that. That is a video. We'll have Drew Prindle here in just a little bit. He's in that video. You know what? There's nothing wrong with an old P. Diddy video.
There's not.
Yeah, I mean, I think
fantastic.
no. It's basically Drew is. I don't know if Drew's the P. Diddy or the Mace of digital trends.
Yeah.
But
Drew Prindle Diddy.
Drew Diddy Prindle, pity? I don't know. All right, so yeah, good comment. Moving on, we've got 2 more here, and then we're just going to do one more story from the news before we kind of wrap up and get ready for our next segment. So Baraboy wrote regarding our cereal on the go in the Crunch Cup. That's a tongue twister. So it's this product where you can eat cereal on the go. It's like a sippy cup for cereal. Baraboy says, no. Fixing an issue that doesn't exist by introducing another product we don't need that brings more plastic into an environment that needs a break. If you're late, pick up a banana or an apple or a breakfast bar if you must. All right, I get the plastic part. You sound like you're a lot of fun to hang out with. But Baraboy, I mean, I mean, come on, it's a cereal sippy cup. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I'm sure you're going to leave a comment for me now after I just said that. But
I mean,
Marie, would you use a Crunch Cup? Or is it excessive?
I probably would. I would love to see, actually, they just make it out of cereal so you could just eat the cup after you're done.
That's a brilliant idea right here.
At me.
At Marie. Send your emails to Marie, attention developers. All right, our final one that we have, Michael Broadway. And this is regarding the 60 best pictures from space. So this one, if you haven't gone to this article, I mean, it's a great article, but it's literally just pictures from space. The comment thread on this is probably the best comment thread I've seen on digital trends because it has most of it has nothing to do with pictures from space. But this person, Michael, did write, and just thank NASA and all the evil people that work so hard to make everything look round. Thanks, Photoshop. Oh, well. I don't know if they're being facetious or not, but either way, there are so many flat earther people on this comment thread. I highly suggest going there to read through that. It's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
The internet, it's no short of interesting people. All right, there's so much more I could say there. I'm just not even going to do. All right, so let's get to our one other story here before we're going to have to throw it a break when we bring on Ronan here in just a minute to talk about automotive. But some of the breaking news that came out today has to do with just more foldable phone news in that we did find out some more things on that. Samsung pretty much confirming they're going to be showing how their new foldable phone that they're going to be releasing next year is going to work at their developers conference, which is coming up end of next week, actually, November 7th, 8th, 9th, I think.
That sounds about right.
So they confirmed that they will be showing at least, if not a product, how it's going to work, and then we'll probably see it at CES, but they're not the only ones. So Huawei also said they're working on one, and by the way, both of these are going to be 5G phones, apparently, even though there's not a network yet, but
AT&T's working on it, though, right?
AT&T does have some. Verizon does have some. But it's kind of limited on where you can use it. You can check out Jeremy Kaplan actually did a whole piece on that last week that you can check out at digitaltrends.com. But also, the other rumor is that LG is possibly coming out with their own.
Yeah.
So LG is going to also be jumping into this.
I feel like it's going to be the next trend. I don't know how well it will
Whether it's something that's going to, take off right now.
Yeah. I really want to see one. You remember those slap bands that were going around? And
Yeah.
I just really want one of those. I can just
slap on and have a little screen there. Yeah, and tap away on it. I'm seeing just some of the comments, and then we'll kind of go to break here and reset and talk about some automotive. Let's see. Rain says, can't wait for the wallpaper TV OLED, and also OMG CES is going to be sweet. This is on YouTube. Terry says, certainly no shortage of idiot flat earthers. So I'm referring back to that comment. Lots of comments coming through. So yeah, I agree. CES is going to be pretty great this year, I think. But all right, keep your comments coming. Drop them in there. So much more to come on today's show. We do have, of course, the giveaway, the $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. We've got Charles J. Simon coming up to talk about the robot revolution, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be joined by Ronan Glon to talk about the latest in automotive. He's zooming in live from France, so stay tuned with us. Let us know if you have any questions, comments for that. I will show a picture of myself in a Halloween costume because I know the comments are coming through on that, making fun of me for not having one. But we'll be back here in a minute with more DT Daily. moving along here with our segment on DT Daily. We have so much, like we said, that we're going to be covering today. And I know I say that a lot, but seriously, today there is a lot. And we are very excited right now to be joining, to have our automotive section join us right now. And that is Ronan Glon. Ronan, hello. I just want to make sure if you can hear me. And Ronan is, I believe, live from France right now.
Yep, live from France. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, you sound great. Well, Ronan,
Great.
thanks so much for hopping on the show today. And you have, I've been following along, with all of your articles on digitaltrends.com. Everybody can check out. You got a pretty sweet job. It seems like you get to go around and drive amazing cars as a living.
Yep, basically we travel around the world and drive whatever just came out. All the latest, fastest, most high-tech cars anywhere in the world, really.
That is fantastic. And because of that, we get to be kept up to date with everything going on. So let's launch right into it. I know you have 3 different things that you wanted to talk about today on the segment. The first one, starting off with the Panamera. Maybe you can walk us through it.
Yeah, so Porsche just released the Panamera GTS. It's a mid-range model for the Panamera lineup. And like every GTS batch Porsche since 1963, it's kind of a more driver-focused version of the car. So the suspension is a bit lower. It's also a bit stiffer, so it leans less into corners. It has a twin turbocharged 4-liter V8 engine that makes 453 horsepower. And it's also the first Panamera with a head-up display, so it's got the tech part of the equation covered as well.
I think that's an important thing to factor into, just how more and more tech is being incorporated into every facet of cars, whether it's of course, with e-cars, obviously, or electric cars, you're going to see that a lot in. I mean, it's just kind of assumed. But even with these high-end, like you said, a driver-focused car, a fast car, the tech is more and more in. Like, how are they incorporating the tech in with this one?
Well, you've got the head-up display. That's the most basic part. And that shows, I'm sure you've tried it maybe on your car. You can see information about the car and its surroundings, so the speed, navigation directions in the driver's line of field. And what's also interesting in the Porsche is that you can configure it. So you can have a G-force meter. If you're on the racetrack, for instance, you can tell exactly how you're leaning, how you're accelerating, or how you're braking. And then a lot of the tech under the sheet metal is also very advanced. And that's what kind of helps it go, corner, and brake.
Is because of all that's incorporated into it. And I'm taking a look at some of the chats, the comments coming through on YouTube. Rain said, almost sounds like a Gran Turismo 3A spec.
Gran Turismo 3A spec, I wouldn't go that far, but it is the most engaging Panamera you can buy. It's also probably the most engaging Ford or Porsche you can buy on the market right now. That may change once the Taycan comes out.
And that's and excuse me, this is the Panamera, and that is out right now.
So it's on sale right now. It's not going to be delivered until the second half of 2019. But they held it in Bahrain over the weekend, so quite a bit early. But it's not going to. The deliveries won't start until late 2019. Well,
you can check out the full review of that and some of the different images and different things that we have at digitaltrends.com for that one. So moving on from the Porsche Panamera, we've got the McLaren.
The McLaren Speedtail, yeah. That came out last week. It's the kind of car that if I were 12, I would have a poster of it on my wall right now. It's that good.
You would have a poster of it on your wall? Is that what you just said?
Oh yeah, it's that good. It's the quintessential dream car that everybody wants to own one day.
Now, have you driven it yet?
No, nobody's driven it yet. It came out last week.
Okay, so nobody's actually touched it yet. Excuse me. So what makes this one so unique?
What's very interesting about the Speedtail is it shows what's possible when designers and engineers come together to make a car without having to worry about regulations, so safety, emissions, etc. It's not a street legal car, so they had kind of a blank slate to create the ultimate supercar in a way.
So it's kind of like the dream of everything that you've been looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from design to, it's got a teardrop-shaped design to be as aerodynamic as possible. The body is made out of carbon fiber, but it's still recognizable as a member of the McLaren family because the front end has the key styling cues you expect to find on a McLaren.
I'm taking a look here just at our title card that's underneath. I'm not sure if you can see it. The McLaren Speedtail is an auto engineer's wet dream, is what it says. So it sounds like it sounds like you're agreeing. What are the main features you look for when you're checking out all of these different cars?
Well, what we want is a blend of power, performance, handling, tech, and usability. If you have all of them, that's great, and that's also pretty hard to find. You can also have just a few, but if you have power and handling, but it's not usable, you've got something like the McLaren Senna. You couldn't drive that every day. You couldn't drive that to the store. You can also have usable, but not powerful or engaging to drive. So we kind of want to blend. And of course, tech comes into the equation. As you know, tech is the new yardstick in the luxury and the high performance car segment.
Right.
You can't really get away with launching a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, for instance, without tech these days. That's what buyers look for. So we also look for that, the kind of tech features, anything from in-car tech like infotainment to driving aids, so semi-autonomous features on the highway.
How many, is this going to have anything, where it would be, like you talk about heads-up display, like something on the windshield? Or are you talking about, what kind of tech are you talking about when it comes to that?
When it comes to what, sorry?
When it comes to the heads-up display, I just wanted to go into that just a little bit more, kind of what you were bringing up earlier.
Right, the head-up display, it's actually inspired from fighter jets. They've been using that for over a decade. And it's really cool because you can see everything in the driver's line of sight. And what we want to see is something that's clearly, it's in your line of sight when you're driving. You don't want to have a full navigation map, for instance. That's very distracting. You don't want to have maybe the radio stations. You just want to have it as basic and informative as possible. And a lot of car makers actually get that wrong, which is surprising. You have either too much information or not enough information.
That's what I was going to say. Like maybe go too overboard with it. Like, oh, we've got all of these things, but it's just too much when you're actually out there driving it.
Yeah, because it's right in front of your face, so you end up turning it off because you've got so much information you can't see the car in front of you because you've got a map, for instance.
Well, I know we've just got a couple of minutes left. I want to talk about really quick. I know you've got a lot of write-ups about electric SUVs, and then we've got a final comment that I want to bring up. So maybe let's talk about the electric SUVs.
That's the hottest trend, I would say, right now in the automotive industry is having electric SUVs. So Tesla started that with the Model X, obviously, and it's got the cool Falcon doors. It's got big battery packs, long range, autopilot, everything you hear about Tesla. And it has spawned quite a few competitors that take quite a few different forms. So Jaguar fired first with the I-Pace, which I'm sure you've seen. It's a cross between a sports car, an SUV, and kind of a coupe-looking shape. It's unlike anything Jaguar has ever made to date. Audi fired second, the e-tron, which I type in Namibia earlier this month. The video is on Digital Trends. That is more of a conventional SUV shape, and you've got Mercedes coming out with one, BMW coming out with one. It's really the segment that everybody is putting their development money into right now.
So we're going to be seeing a lot of that, and like you said, you've got a lot of the articles up at Digital Trends too, kind of showcasing some of your driving experiences. The one in Namibia is amazing. So you can check all of that out at digitaltrends.com. We did have one last comment, somebody just referencing that this dude has hundreds of Hot Wheels. Talking about behind you.
That's not even half of it. I have thousands in boxes. I've been collecting Hot Wheels cars since I was a kid.
That is...
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, Ronan, thank you so much for joining us. And again, we are live here at digitaltrends.com. Jack says, host keeps coughing because he just ripped a fat bong off camera. No, I just got to have to cough. But we are live trying to fight through it here. So we're going to take just a quick break. We're going to be joined back with Drew Prindle. And we have a special interview with Charles J. Simon about his book, which we have right here, Will Computers Revolt? So Ronan, thanks so much. And we will be back here in a minute with more DT Daily. I'm going to cough now. Back here with Digital Trends, DT Daily. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler. Once again, we're live across all of our different platforms right now, working on bringing in our next guest, Charles J. Simon. But before we get to that, I want to welcome Drew Prindle back to the show. Hello, Drew. So there were some comments earlier just about your video for the boring flamethrower that went on there. They said it looked like an early P. Diddy video.
That's like the best compliment.
That's what I thought.
Was that supposed to be a diss?
I think it was supposed to be they were supposed to rip on you, but I think it was actually great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
P. Diddy's early stuff was some of his best stuff.
Exactly.
Arguably, right? Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever said that.
So Drew is also the editor of our emerging tech category here on Digital Trends, and so we're working right now on getting our interview on. But just to talk about that, actually, so our Charles J. Simon, who actually wrote the book, Will Computers Revolt, which is what the book is that I have right here. And so I believe it looks like that we have him on. So let's go ahead and bring Charles on. There's a great new piece at digitaltrends.com about this. You can see it in the background. Charles, let's go ahead and bring you on. Can you hear me right now? Oh, it looks like we can't quite hear you. So again, we're live right now. This is live streaming. So for everybody who's watching, as we work through some of this. And let's see. And I believe Charles was actually out.
I believe he's on a ship.
Yeah, out at sea.
He's at sea. He's, yeah.
Reading, looks like we're still working on some of the audio right there. So I'll let our tech staff behind the scenes here is kind of working on that to get that dialed in. They'll let me know when it's all working. But yeah, so Charles is, like his record of what he's done is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything that he's been involved with. And this book, I think it's really fascinating. Now, you've actually read through.
No, I didn't make it through the entire thing, but did my best to make it through it. And it's pretty good. It kind of seeks to answer a question that I think pops into everybody's minds when you're talking about, AI. It's like, I think everybody kind of accepts the fact that, AI is going to be a thing. We're eventually going to reach the point where computers are as intelligent as humans in every aspect, whether that be just like factual knowledge or creative abilities or even emotional intelligence. So you kind of accept the fact that that's going to happen sometime in the future.
Right.
It's not so much a question of if as much as it is when. But the question that comes after that is like, what happens then? Like, are computers going to be evil? Are they going to revolt against the creators? Like, how do we prepare for the future? And that's kind of what he seeks to answer in this book.
And I think that's an important question to think about because, like you said, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is happening. I mean, we see it every day just with... just how fast it happens, even when we talk about, like smart home hubs or smart assistants.
Yeah.
Google's already got one that can mimic the human voice, like mimic speech patterns, to where you can almost not even tell the difference.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the beginning of all of this.
And that's really what he uses to kind of set up the beginning of the book. He kind of makes the point that, obviously this guy doesn't have a crystal ball. He doesn't know the future. He doesn't know exactly when it's going to happen. But he makes a very compelling point about, it's probably happening sooner than we think.
Yeah.
AGI, artificial general intelligence, where computers are just as smart as humans in every aspect. He makes it. Oh wait, we got a little bit of audio there.
A little bit of audio going. So we're working here on getting the audio in and talking about that. Rain says, "Look at the game. This is on YouTube. Look at the game. Detroit Becomes Human," which I've actually played part of that. You're right. Yeah, it's just about AI, about how much it's interacting with everybody here. Sorry, I'm getting my audio adjusted myself, and this is part of the live show here at DT Daily, working on the tech, on getting everybody dialed in from wherever. And I know Charles is on a boat, and you can't see him right now. We can see him, and I think he can hear us, but we can't hear him. We can hear.
You sound like a robot.
Yeah, okay. Actually, Charles, are you actually a robot? This is what we need to know.
I am not a robot. Please not yet.
So the audio. So Charles, I'm just going to let you know since we're live. So your audio is it's not working very well. It's what would be the right
garbled.
word? Garbled. Yeah, garbled would be the right word for it. As we're talking about this, so I think maybe we'll work on that. Maybe if behind the scenes can let me know if we'll try to get that dialed in or. Okay. So I think we'll work on that and see if we can get that worked out to get you joined in here. But still talking about your book. So for anybody who doesn't know, Charles is literally on a ship at sea right now. So that's where he's at. So that's what trying to get that all dialed in.
That's the tricky technical part right now.
But let's walk through just a couple of things with the book too, so that way if we do get him dialed in here, we can talk about this. And so one of the main things in the book, and again, it's Will Computers Revolt, and the articles at digitaltrends.com, is talking about the term AGI.
Yeah.
So what does the term AGI mean?
AGI is artificial general intelligence. That's, as I was saying earlier, the point when computers are just as smart as humans in every aspect, and that is kind of a way for us to differentiate true AI from other forms of AI. Like we have AI right now, but like in the context of like AGI, what we have right now is what's referred to as artificial narrow intelligence. So we have things that are smarter than humans, but only in very specific things. Take like a calculator, for example, like way better at most people than, you know, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, but it can't make you a cup of coffee, or like, you know, it can't do like so many things that humans can do right now. So yeah, artificial general intelligence is when it can do everything.
So that's kind of what he's talking about where we're headed here. And there's essentially, you know, and as we're working on getting Charles back on again, live on DT Daily, if you have questions, Drew's also very familiar with this subject, so feel free to drop those in there, and we'll talk to him. I saw a couple of comments through saying because of the audio issues, he sounds like the evil kit car, Charles. And again, you know, we're beaming this in through all. Who knows what kind of channels to get Charles in here to talk with us right now. But Charles does walk through in the book like 4 different kind of scenarios.
Yeah, he makes the argument that, you know, this is going to happen eventually, and we really should start preparing because we don't know how soon this AGI kind of revolution is going to happen.
And that's that's unpredictable.
Preparing now.
I mean, it's exponentially increasing, exponential advancements.
And he's got 4 different scenarios for how this could potentially play out. And the first one is the peaceful coexistence scenario. It's the best one.
Where everything's fine, everything's peachy.
Yeah. It's basically we develop artificial intelligence, and instead of it, you know, revolting in kind of a negative way and trying to like exterminate the human race like you see in sci-fi movies, it's actually something that helps humanity, helps us achieve our goals, solves all of our problems, and we kind of just go into this like utopia that's brought in, ushered in by AI.
La-da-da, everything's fine.
So that's the first like good situation, but then it kind of gets bleak from there.
Yeah, which is, I mean, let's go ahead and check here, just checking our audio. Do we have Charles dialed in? Charles, can you hear?
I'm here.
Oh, all right.
You don't sound like an evil kit car. Okay, let's go. Great. So let's go ahead and bring him on right now. Charles J. Simon, author of the book that we're talking about, Will Computers Revolt? So Charles, where are you at right now?
I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, out at sea in the Chesapeake Bay. Hey, you guys have been doing. I could always hear you, so you've done a great job of explaining the book while I've been sailing.
Well, that's great. Well, it's so good to have you on. You know, and this is a subject I'm actually really interested in. I love learning about AI and just the possibilities and where things are going. I know Drew is too. Let's talk about your book. So what was the impetus? What made you want to write this book, Will Computers Revolt?
Well, I've been looking at this for many, many years. I started writing the book in 1980 and withdrew it and edited it and changed it. And you know, I've always thought that it seems obvious to me that computers will eventually exceed humans in intelligence. And I just wanted to explore those possibilities and talk about how that might work.
And where it's going to go. And, you know, we talked about it earlier. We brought up AGI, artificial general intelligence, and we're starting to go into kind of the 4 different scenarios that you see happening. I guess maybe before we even get to that, just to ask you, do you think robots are going to revolt?
I don't think so, no.
You don't?
I think we'll be more careful. I think we'll be more careful than that.
But this is kind of the warning right here, I would imagine. So let's walk through these 4 different things that we started talking about, but let's just go from the beginning. Your 4 different scenarios, the ways that you think this could go down with the exponential advancement of artificial intelligence.
Exactly. Well, scenario 1, we'll call the peaceful coexistence scenario. And of course, you have to keep in mind that once you have a computer that is as smart as a person, in not very many years subsequently, you'll have a computer that's 10 times as smart, or 100 times as smart, or 1,000 or 1,000,000 times as smart. And this is really inconceivable. So what happens is that as computers can proceed, you simply end up with a situation where computers and humans are not able to speak at the same rate. The computers are so much more advanced and so much faster than humans that we might be as interesting to them as a tree. And so there's only a kind of a short time where computers and humans are working at the same speed. And at that point, we have a lot of interaction, and we may come into some areas of dispute. And so that's the point at which we have to be a little more careful.
Where they're starting to catch up. So just even that interaction is going to be something where it may be indistinguishable for us as far as whether somebody is a human or an AI.
Exactly. One of the things that I'd be interested in is and this certainly applies to things like robocall. Maybe we should announce ourselves as being human, or conversely, announce ourselves as being non-human at the beginning of a conversation.
I am human. Let's walk on to the next the next subject here. So that's one scenario. What's the next scenario?
Okay, well then we've got the mad machine scenario, and the
which sounds horrible.
Possibility. Well, yeah. Well, when we develop machines, we have to remember that they are rule-based.
Yes.
And thinking of Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, where you create the rules, you create the entire behavior of the system. And so when you think about creating rules, the way humans are, we have a set of rules that we call instincts, and we've evolved those over millions of years, and they're designed for us to be able to survive in the wild and take advantage of things. And so we've become territorial and possessive and angry and things like that. And computers will live on a different set of rules because that's what we'll program. And there's no need for us to program rules that are similar. So the computer is likely to be a lot more, of a pacifist than your average human, simply because there's no need for us to program them to be aggressive.
Yeah, there's no need to program jealousy or any of those, kind of human emotions in there.
Exactly. And so when we go through the scenario there, the possibility exists, of course, that you either get somebody that's gotten misprogrammed or something like that. But in general, the rule-based computer system is not going to be developed to be like a human in terms of having those kinds of interests.
I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of like the debate right now talking about even for AI that controls.
I lost your audio.
Oh, you lost us. Okay. Well, I'll talking to Drew
All right,
while we're working on getting you dialed in. So that kind of reminds me of, talking about the AI that controls cars. Like, at what point is it we're going to have it make a decision to save? There's the whole busload of children, or saving yourself from driving off a cliff. Like, how do you tell the car what to do?
Yeah. And that's a tricky question.
It is, because we have to program that in.
And the thing is, we have full control over that process, though. So it's really.
But it's who is controlling that
process.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of this, is like, who. What if it gets into the hands of the wrong person who uses this the wrong way, I suppose.
Yeah.
As for like personal gain to kind of like dominate the world.
Which isn't something entirely possible, that
you see a lot of like AI and the technology. It's a lot of the most powerful ones, and the biggest data sets that are being collected and turned into these AI machines are owned by big corporations right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't inspire a lot of faith.
No, you start thinking about all the movies where, a movie scenario where it's like they're controlling all of the AI, which is pretty much the premise of a whole lot of movies that are coming out right now. We'll still wait here to see if Charles can hear us. Charles, when you do hear us, if you can hear us, okay, you can't hear us. Please keep your comments and questions coming through here right now. I think basically what's happening is the robots want to keep us from talking about this, which is why obviously we need to continue on and do our best. All right, looks like we're having some issues with it, but I want to encourage everybody to go and check out Charles' interview or his article at digitaltrends.com and get his book. Take a look at this book, Will Computers Revolt? I think it's fascinating, and it really is something that, quite honestly, we all have to think about. It's gonna be occurring. And so it's probably going to be one of these 4 different scenarios. We only got through a couple of them, but there's 2 more. They aren't as good. But there's some other possibilities that could happen. So again, I want to say a big thank you to Charles for joining us. And I think what we're going to do here is, the tech's not going to allow us right now to bring him back on. But like I said, check out that article. We do have a lot more coming up. So we've got Cedric Hudson, who's going to be joining here in just a minute. He's a senior apparel designer at Adidas. We still have our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway that we're going to be doing here on Digital Trends. And we are live. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So we'll be back in a minute with more DT Daily. Back here with DT Daily. Thanks everybody for tuning in live. Obviously, we're broadcasting across a bunch of different platforms, and we can take your comments and questions. And if you have them, please drop them in for this next segment, because we are joined now by Cedric Hudson with the very impressive title, as I just told him off air, Senior Apparel Designer at Adidas.
Yeah.
Cedric, thank you so much for coming in here and joining us. This is fantastic. You know, I mean, I wanted to talk about Senior Apparel Designer. Such a cool title to have. Like, how did you get into this?
Man, probably a lot of hard work and blessings for sure.
Yeah,
so
a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both, a good mix. So I went to Indiana University, studied fashion design there, and during my second year in the program, I transferred from Virginia Tech. I ran track in college, so I had the athletic background too.
What did you run in track?
I was a long jumper actually.
Nice.
I jumped like 24 feet,
Damn.
high school and college. So yeah. So I had the opportunity. That helped, give me the opportunity to go to college. And so when I transferred to Indiana, they had fashion design, and after my second year in the program, I got an opportunity to intern with Reebok in Boston, and then went back to school with a lot of new knowledge and just kept chugging along, because I met a lot of people that summer that really showed what I needed to do to get better. And so I applied my design learnings and the athletic background, and I applied to Adidas probably like 4 times before I got an internship there.
Yeah.
And then I got the internship after 2012 when I graduated, and I've been with them ever since. So it's been like ongoing, probably almost like 6 years now.
And so you just kind of worked your way up. I mean, I love that idea, just you kept going after it and going after it and going after it,
for sure.
and didn't get deterred, which I think is an important lesson for anybody going after what you want.
No, 100%. I mean, you got to just, if you want it bad enough, you'll do what you got to do to get there. And, sometimes people get real low. But usually when you get real low, that's when, a breakthrough's probably on the way. So you got to just kind of push through that.
Keep plugging through.
Yeah.
So what is it that you like about design? Like what's your philosophy on design?
Well, it's kind of funny because like people always ask me like, yo, how'd you even know that I was like, I didn't grow up wanting to be like a designer.
Yeah, you weren't as a kid like
Yeah, but the thing is, growing up, I was doing origami all the time, or Legos, or the model cars, or building things all the time. And I mean, I would ask for origami paper for my birthday or Christmas, and so I think, when I started taking pattern development in college, I just realized, I was like, yo, it's like origami for grown-up, for people. So I was like, yo, this is cool. I can apply that to this.
I never thought about that way of looking at it.
You know what I mean? But I mean, if you think about it, like, Izumiyaki and the stuff he does with the pleats, please, and all that, like, it's origami, like all those things, like, it all kind of goes hand in hand. So it's a cool thing, man. I mean, I think I'm fortunate that it kind of just came onto me in that way, and it's in my family on my mom's side. She's a great crafts person. She does everything under the sun.
Yeah.
I watched her sew as a kid. She used to tell me, my great-grandmother, she used to make dresses for the women in the neighborhood. That's what kind of my tattoo is signifying, just letting her that I thank her.
Yeah,
that I thank her.
Scissors,
that I thank her for sending, those talents down to me. And then same thing, my uncle used to get comics in the newspaper. So I feel like I was kind of the first person to really take advantage of the skill sets. I think I had the best opportunity, so I'm just trying to do my best to take advantage of my youth and the time of the where we're in with all the technology and
I want to bring that up. Talking about that, it sounds like you combined the creativity with some of the background that you had with your relatives, kind of instilling that in you from the beginning.
For sure.
How do you utilize the technology side of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's internet. I was born in '89, so I didn't really like grow up with internet until we had like high-speed internet, not until like 2001 or something.
Yeah.
So, still like dial in and all that.
AOL.
So, back then it wasn't really a thing, but, nowadays it's more so, I would say the programs like, Illustrator and Photoshop and InDesign for making presentations and all of those things. And I think it's just a combination of how you blend all that together with the more analog approach. So with the paper and pen, and you can scan those things in, and then you can Photoshop them to kind of freak them a little bit. Like, so I think it's, with your aesthetic and your skill set too, is how you kind of blend all those things together.
I feel like that would be an important thing, for anybody who's coming up in design right now, that it would probably be easy to start moving into just doing everything online. But I feel like, and I could be wrong, I am not a senior apparel designer, that it'd be important to also have like some hands-on feel with everything.
Yeah, I mean, I learned how to sew real deal in college. We took patterning and the draping and all those things. So I'm able to be hands-on and manipulate patterns and work hand-in-hand with our sewing room to get things done. So I think having the hands-on ability too is a big thing. So I think that's very important. I think when, the young kids are coming up is like, don't get, caught up with the digital thing or the sketching and stuff. I mean, all those things are important to get your idea across, but being able to actually make and be hands-on, because it can become a lost art. I feel like, you have old heads tell you that to me now, like, oh, back in my day, it's like, all right, well, but I think it is a good thing to be able to kind of just really get hands-on and separate yourself from the screen sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that technology is a big, big asset, and so you got to be well versed in everything. So
it can help.
Try to balance.
Yeah, try to find that balance. Which it's an important thing, I would think. Going forward. Like what I know, and this was off air. I found out some things that that influence your creativity. I know music's a big part of it.
For sure.
So what artist, is there any one artist that's the most influential? Is it just kind of depend?
It's a lot, man. So a lot of people that know me, like I'm a big R&B kind of like jazz guy.
Okay.
So like Tom Misch and Reginald Chapman and Christian Scott, Braxton Cook, a lot of these new and up and coming guys. I mean, man, it's everything. And then you got cats like Nicolay and Fonte and all those types of vibes. Like, that's like where my head's always at, really. I listen to the stage.
Like you're walking around, that's just what's playing.
Yeah, no, that's like my inner, like,
Yeah.
But I like listening to the State of Jazz playlist a lot.
Nice.
On Spotify. Obviously, I have my own playlist for my brand, Contemporary Athletics, that I just have that on the side. So I like to just kind of, because for me, it's like the music that I like, so I can, put into that playlist I can just always go to, and I just listen to that. But State of Jazz I think is outstanding. It's one of my favorite playlists.
And you hear something new, and it just kind of like, how does that?
And it's newer jazz artists,
Yeah.
So it's really cool, man. And I mean, I always find something new. And then I also still listen to like old stuff, like, so especially like Jazz Mataz, like Guru stuff.
Nice.
That's like, that just kind of blends everything together. And then the guy Ivan Av, like, I love his music so much. And he was interviewed on Ali Shaheed Muhammad's Microphone Check podcast, and he compared him to Guru, and I was like, all right, cool. Sounds good.
So it's kind of like your design process, just in general. Blending the old with the new. The old hands-on technology. You got old jazz and new jazz.
Yeah, and it gets me in the right mindset. It gets me in the mindset to create. It gets me in the mindset to kind of give over to the process, which I think a lot of jazz musicians do, because it can be frenetic at times. It can be slow. It can.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of connect with it in that way. So.
That's cool. Well, it's good that you found out what influences you the most and what brings out that creativity. And just congratulations on the job. I mean, senior apparel designer at Adidas.
Man. I mean, like sometimes it's kind of funny when you say it like that. Like, all right.
I know you probably are used to hearing it. Like this is But it's a good title.
Yeah, I do try to check myself sometimes and kind of understand that I'm very blessed to do what I do for a living. Like I just make clothes, man. I draw and do stuff at work. You know what I mean?
And it's what you want to do and what you like to do.
It's my hobby that I've
turned into a job.
Turned into a career.
Yeah.
And so, I'm excited to go to work every day. Some people probably be like, yeah, sure. I'm like, nah, for real, I really am. Like, I really can't complain. I mean, a lot of other people have really tough jobs out here. And I'm in no place to complain. So I try not to, and I try to just do what I got to do.
Well, congratulations. What's the best place for people to follow you?
At CedyCed, so CEDY_CED on Instagram, and then my side brand, Contemporary Athletics at C_athletics. Yeah, either one of those.
Nice.
I'm pretty active on both. So yeah.
All right. Well, Cedric, thank you so much for coming in.
Sure, I appreciate it.
Really inspiring. Yeah.
No doubt.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
And thanks everybody for tuning in to DT Daily. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back here in a minute. We've got a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. We'll kind of recap what we've talked about. So stick right with us. Back in a second with more DT Daily. All right, back here, of course, DT Daily broadcasting live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And we have had a pretty amazing show so far. So we've still got a couple of minutes here. I want to kind of recap some of the things that we talked about and talk about what we have going forward. But before we do that, maybe it's time to give away $100 for an Amazon gift card. So we've got our monster giveaway sign that will flash here up on the screen. There is a code there. That's our email code. Robot Revolution. So get out your emails right now. Start emailing dtdaily@digitaltrends.com. The 10th emailer will win an Amazon gift card. We'll announce that tomorrow on the show. So tomorrow, 9 Pacific, noon Eastern, I'll announce who it is. Yesterday's winner was Vicky Dunn. Congratulations to her. So you can be like Vicky and win this if you email right now, dtdaily@digitaltrends.com. So today, we've covered a lot of things today. So we started off just kind of giving a recap of what happened at the Apple event yesterday. You can check out all of those reviews at digitaltrends.com. Make sure you go there and take a look. Then we were joined by Ronan to talk about some of the automotive things that he's seen, just everything going on in automotive, which is great. There's so much. It's hard for me to keep up. That's why I like going to digitaltrends.com, and Ronan will bring you up to speed with everything going on in that world. And then we had Charles J. Simon on a little bit. We had some tech issues there because he is out on a boat at sea, but I kid you not, the book is fantastic. So author of Will Computers Revolt. He's got a great op-ed that's at digitaltrends.com right now. You can take a look at. We also have, let's say, Drew Prindle joined us along with that. And then we had Cedric Hudson hopping in to talk with us about being the senior apparel designer at Adidas. I did say I would show a picture of myself in costume because I know I'm not in costume today. So here's one. This is me and my buddies with my Macho Man Randy Savage costume. But the problem is I don't know if pink tights would be office appropriate. So that's the only reason. I didn't want to violate anything HR. But seriously, that jacket, I made it and it's awesome. So there it is, Macho Man Randy Savage. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to DT Daily. And again, we're back live tomorrow, every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Hop in, share the show. A lot of these videos will go up as standalone videos. Hit subscribe, let people know about the show. We love people tuning in. You know, we're building something here. We want you to be a part of it. And it's this whole interactive live conversation that we're having. So across all the platforms, let us know what you think. Hop in and share your comments. And thanks, everybody, for joining us. Lots to talk about tomorrow. We've got some special guests. You'll have to tune in to find out all about it right then. This is DT Daily. We'll see you tomorrow.